The lawmakers and Capitol Hill staff who were there that day, how are they dealing with the aftermath of the attack on our nation's Capitol 1 year later? ABC News congressional correspondent Rachel Scott has this story.
Can you believe that it's already been a year?
It's really hard to believe it because it still feels like it was just yesterday. All of the memories feel just as fresh and raw.
For most people, the chaos and violence unfolded for just a few hours on January 6th. But for those who were there, the trauma never ended.
I never thought I could be in the capital of the United States of America and be attacked by other Americans.
Gunfire, shattered glass, a noose at the foot of the Capitol, Trump supporters storming the building. These were some of the first images that emerged from inside the House chamber, the mob pounding on the door. A group of lawmakers trapped above in the gallery told to reach for the gas masks stored under their seats.
Initially, for me, it was just, how do you get out of here? Yeah. I wasn't even thinking fear. I mean, we didn't even know how to open the gas masks.
Congresswoman Lisa Blunt Rochester kneeling in prayer, facing a flood of emotions.
In the gallery, when we prayed, that though also made me feel back to that word faith. Like all in that balcony, in that gallery, I could just feel every ancestor, everything, all of the bad things that have to wake you up to what the reality is.
Congressman Jason Crow, a former U.S. Army Ranger taking cover, his military training and instincts kicking in.
I still harbor feelings of anger and resentment. For a brief moment there, I snapped back in to that Jason Crow Army Ranger mindset and was preparing myself to potentially have to take life again, to protect us and to get out. And that wasn't a great place to be.
Most people don't have to come back every single day to the place where they endured so much trauma. When you're back inside the chamber, what do you think about now?
I think about it all the time. And every time I get an alert, because we get alerts on our phones, you know, that this building is, there's a problem in this building or whatever, I feel my heart starting to race a little bit more.
Feel the anxiety.
I feel anxiety. I haven't gone back to the gallery, actually.
You haven't?
I haven't. That night, they told us to go back to the same place that we had been. I was like, I'm not going back.
What is it for you? Why not go back?
It was traumatic. It's returning to a place of trauma.
Those Democrats together in the gallery that day by chance were bonded together by the trauma. They stayed in touch, group text messages turning into therapy sessions.
That's been a blessing far beyond January 6th, and I know has endured, has made us more resolute, impassioned, and strong.
And you've kept the gas mask, something that many people maybe would never want to see again. Why keep it?
This bears witness. You know, this is going to be with me wherever I end up, as long as I'm here, not just here in this job, but on Earth, because this moment, is going to be seared into my memory and is a reminder of the responsibility.
Nobody can go through an experience like that, and experience trauma of that nature, without having some impact on you. And getting help is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength.
You can see thousands of people gathered here. These are the president's supporters.
January 6th was my first day covering Capitol Hill, and I think the hardest part for me is that everything is associated with that day, right? Every entrance I walk into, every window that I pass by. What has been the hardest part about moving forward?
I'd say some of those colleagues of ours who want to pretend that it never happened. Here you had this incredibly vitriolic, traumatic experience, and yet we serve with folks now who want to pretend it was a tourist visit. And that's tough. That's a tough pill to swallow.
The insurrection only deepening fraught partisan divides, eroding trust between members who were caught in the crosshairs of the violence. Freshman Republican Troy Nehls came face to face with the mob.
The center doors started to shake violently, and then the glass shattered. I could look through the glass and I saw a young man, and he was looking at me and I was looking at him, and he said, "You're from Texas, you should be with us." And I told him this was un-American what you're doing.
Hours later, when lawmakers returned to the chamber to certify the election results, he was one of 147 Republicans who voted against it. 1 year later, the feelings are still raw. Capitol workers, custodians, legislative aides, and police officers, many of them still shaken by the attack, struggling to cope with the trauma.
I personally haven't gone through anything as traumatic as that. Like, that has been my most traumatic experience.
I never really dealt with anxiety before, but I now have anxiety.
Nathaniel Holmes and Leah Hahn work for House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and were inside her office, just steps away from the House chamber.
What was the moment when you realized that you were in danger?
You started hearing people in the building. It was no longer just these chanting and shouts from outside. You could hear people in the hallways. It just seems if someone's capable of breaking in the Capitol building, what else are they capable of?
The staff grabbed what they could and raced to the closest conference room, barricading themselves inside, no security around.
It's scary to think, what if I was a little bit slower, or if I was, upstairs?
Do you think about that? Do you think about the scenarios?
Definitely have thought about that a lot. What would they have done if they had found us? Were they going to kill us? Like, were they going to torture us? Like, I'm a woman. Were they going to rape me? Like, I don't know. Like, I just don't know.
That's what you were thinking, Madsen.
Everything, all the possibilities. I mean, I couldn't help but try to prepare myself.
The mob pounding at the door as rioters search for the Speaker of the House.
Nancy! Where are you, Nancy?
They ransacked her office. Her staff hid under a table inside that conference room. You can hear Nathaniel whispering in horror in this recording. This is his first time speaking out about that moment.
I think they're within our line. We need Capitol Police, I think, coming to the hallway. They're pounding on doors trying to find her.
I thought we were gonna die. I mean, I just remember, I kept thinking, this can't be happening, this can't be happening to me. Like, how is this happening?
That sound of them breaking the door in, you can't see it, but you can hear it.
Yeah, and that's, I think, the worst part is, it's almost scarier, I think, because you can't see it. You don't know what's coming, you don't know what's happening.
Do you still hear that a year later? Does that sound still play in your head?
Yeah, I think loud noises. Definitely like banging on a door, like that sound sticks with me, but it's hard not to also have a reaction when you hear just crowds that are loud.
1 year removed, while the initial shock has worn off, an unanticipated grief remains that even time can't seem to shake. But resilience is slowly emerging.
1 year later, will this building ever be the same? And will you yourself ever be the same?
I don't think we can be the same when things happen. I think we are a collection, and the building is a collection of all the things that happen to us, in the buildings. And so courage begets courage.
Yeah, I don't know if it can ever be the same, but it doesn't necessarily have to always be defined by that. I hope it's not defined by that. So yeah, I don't know if it'll be the same, but hopefully it can be better.
For ABC News, I'm Rachel Scott in Washington.
Our thanks to Rachel for that, and be sure to check out the new ABC News documentary entitled Homegrown Standoff to Rebellion, examining the events leading up to that now infamous day, featuring an interview with former Oath Keeper who was actually contacted by House investigators after our team posted the special on Hulu last night. It premieres right after Prime on ABC News Live.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.